It's your girl, Lauren. Clairvoyaging is built on openness, trust, community, and a mindset of growth and vulnerability. There have been multiple times when our guests challenge our belief systems and bring to light aspects of ourselves that we were either denying or in denial of. But because our guests have all been respectful and worked with us through these conversations, we've always walked away feeling uplifted and inspired, even after some tears from me. Well, we recently had our first uncomfortable interview that left us feeling like shit. Wayfeather Media presents Clairvoyaging. I won't name names because I don't think this person has malicious intent, but in retrospect, and after a lot of discussion between Frank and me, we decided that there was too much energetic misalignment and a mismatch of messaging, which led us to scrap the episode. Before I continue, there are a few things I want to express. This show is a reflection of who Frank and I are as individuals and a unified, purposeful partnership. Like any team, we have our strengths and we have our weaknesses. In the wrong environment, we are both susceptible to being bulldozed by a certain type of person. Frank and I are both open-minded, considerate people who take our time to contemplate information presented to us. This is very much reflected in our show. If you hear us, you know that. When presented with challenging bits of information, we ask more questions to bridge that knowledge gap. We nod in contemplation and we listen. It's not in our nature to play hardball or to be confrontational. In this sacred space that we've built, our willingness to listen and learn is our greatest strength. However, we found ourselves confronted by an aggressive, domineering type who used spirituality and psychism as a Trojan horse. And what sucks more than anything is that just like a Trojan horse, we invited them in. So at the end of the day, we are responsible for who we allowed into our space, and we weren't prepared for the unhealed wounds that were projected onto us by the person we interviewed. We were seeking someone who combined business and spirituality. We wanted to discuss limiting mindsets around money, possibly chat about manifestation, and get advice for people who are looking to grow an idea or a business, but might operate with a scarcity or poverty mindset. This is a bit of a fringe topic for us and for this show, but something we thought might be helpful. We found a person who presented very confidently and was also a very deeply intuitive person. At first, this person was insightful, pleasant, and confident, but the confidence quickly became self-aggrandizing. An unbalanced ego was at play. It took about 30 minutes for it to go from an interview to an attempted intervention, where our interviewee used my biggest weakness to challenge me. I asked a question: what advice do you give to someone like me who wants to expand, potentially create a workshop, but who often struggles with self-doubt? The response was, what happens to my marriage if I start fully stepping into my power? Would I feel supported by my husband? My immediate answer was, hell yes, I would be supported by Frank. I know that. Along with some confusion because I was not asking about my marriage at all. Okay, but what is the little girl in me most afraid of? Anytime someone brings up my inner child, my abandonment wound is automatically triggered. And I cry. The discomfort started there and continued while they tried to convince Frank that he is letting his wife down by not being a traditional, masculine, CrossFit, weightlifting millionaire provider. It was a confusing combination of trying to boost me up in a way that somehow still felt undermining while also tearing Frank down. They weaponized their intuitive gifts, claiming that Frank wasn't capable of consciously agreeing with their insights, but assuring him that his higher self completely agreed. And all of this was sandwiched between actual decent advice and psychic readings that, while completely unsolicited, were kind of accurate. So here we had the passive and open Leons at the mercy of an aggressive, unhealed, capitalist-minded psychic, tapping into my and Frank's deepest fears, pitting us against each other, and using that to push a very specific worldview and ultimately this person's services. After the dust settled, we realized that this interaction was domineering, manipulative, and left absolutely no room for the nuance that is the cornerstone of this podcast. This person tried to tell us that my success would potentially destroy our marriage because of Frank's insecurities, that it would be messy and chaotic, but that we'd have to face our shadows if we're going to choose to stay together. Frank pushed back regarding the idea of masculine energy. He's been trying to redefine what that even means to him, while intentionally allowing more feminine rage into his life. For more on that, listen to his Lilith/election episode. It's episode 52. It's great. He always makes an effort to create more space for female voices. So when Frank said that the suggestion of needing more masculine energy didn't resonate with him in the slightest, this person said Frank was bullshitting because as a psychic, they knew better. This person told Frank that I don't fully believe he supports my growth and power. So he had to sit with that discomfort for days, questioning his shadows and wondering how much I agreed with any of that. I don't agree with any of that. But because an overly confident and underdeveloped psychic said it, he still had to worry about it. But after all this misrepresentation of his character, what it did was create an emphasis for him on what he doesn't like or believe and what he truly represents. But you know what's really wild? All the trouble and self-doubt this person caused. And we're not even mad at them because we both learned a valuable lesson. It was an opportunity for deeper conversation between Frank and me, and it gave us more clarity about what this podcast is and what it isn't. Furthermore, I need to finally live into my confidence and know for certain what I am about and what motivates me, and not to be at the mercy of the next highly opinionated and super confident person to cross my path, regardless of their intuitive ability. Voyagers. After this conversation, Frank pulled the 9 of Pentacles. Wealth follows your focus, which must be trained. Be mindful of where you place your attention. Be protective and selective about what you are allowing yourself to receive. Slow down and create an environment that emanates prosperity, and abundance will follow. We believe that we are attracting abundance, but from now on, we're only allowing messages that build us up, not tear us down. We love our listeners. We value our authentic growth as well as yours. Thank you so much for allowing us to share our journey, our mistakes, our achievements, and our vulnerability. See you next week.
Thank you for listening. Visit clairvoyaging.com for merchandise or to access free resources to help you on your spiritual journey. Subscribe to our Patreon for more content or join for free to chat with us. Clairvoyaging is a fiscally sponsored project of Fractured Atlas, a 501c3 charity. Make a tax-deductible donation to support our mission to foster understanding, respect, and curiosity for diverse spiritual belief systems. Clairvoyaging is a production of Wayfeather Media.